Hey y'all, hey. Ah, it's like I gotta take a cleansing breath every time I do these because part of me just wants to back the fuck out and be like, nah, don't do it. My ego will be like, don't do it. But then my higher self be like, just do it. Just fucking do it. Say what's on your heart. Oh, thank you. Hey, Tora. One of my favorite Facebook friends. Um, Sometimes you be having me in my feelings though. I'm not gonna lie. But just being real. But I love it. But thank you. Thank you. But hey y'all. So I just wanted to come on here because I've been reflecting, man. Life has been so lit and so many good and so many bad ways. Like my thought process has been through the roof. My reflecting has been through the roof. And I just feel lighter. I feel like I have so much of a burden off of me. Like I've been able to get so much off my chest and it's just made me feel so much better, about things. And um so I just wanted to come on here and share. I wanted to come on here and reflect on some things that have been on my heart and on my mind. And I've been having a lot of conversations with people about, purpose, friends about purpose and doing what we were put here to do. I was reading this super, super dope book last night, and it kind of, yes, some serious inner work. But this book here that I was reading, is it backwards? It's called The Life You Were Born to Live, a guide to finding your life purpose. And it's dope because when you read things, you don't read it to just believe in it. You research things and you reflect on things if it resonates with you, because that's what your spirit is guiding you toward anyway. And so I was reading about my life path number, which is number 9, which is about, based on this book, it's about integrity and wisdom. And I was like, shit, that's fucking interesting because I'm gonna just go ahead and keep it all the way real with y'all, okay? And I'm about to also tell y'all what influenced this video. So, integrity. Y'all, my entire life has been the exact opposite of integrity up until I really started doing my spiritual work. Like, when I tell y'all no integrity whatsoever for a large portion of my life, and I'm here and I'm reflecting and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm evolving into. I'm evolving into this person that everybody's been complimenting me about. She's raw, she's vulnerable, she's open, she's very, very open with the things that she shares. What makes you so open, Nia? What makes you just come out and share what you've been through or who you have been? Because fuck it. Because my purpose here is to be free. My purpose here is to inspire other people to be free and be who the fuck they are. And that feels good. That feels so good to my spirit. So, I don't know if you guys watched my last video. And if you could, please share the video because this may inspire someone else. Share, tag your friends, people that are questioning what their purpose is. But just sharing and reflecting on what I feel like I was sitting here to do and to maybe help you guys with what you were sitting here to do. So anyway, I don't know if anybody of you watched my last video, but my last video, I kind of went into a very vulnerable space and discussed things about my father. I cried, I broke down a little bit. I've been breaking through a lot of my daddy issues or dealing with the divine masculine side of myself. And when I tell y'all those reflections are real, the shit is insane. It can be so dark and it can be so heavy on one end of it, on one side of the spectrum, on the law, as far as the law of polarity and how that works. But on the other side of the spectrum, that shit can be so enlightening. It can be so freeing. It's like it's so difficult, but it's so easy at the same damn time. So, I was talking to my cousin who I call my brother. We're like this. We're like this. But I was telling him, I was just really upset over this last week about my dad and some of the things that he's done. And he's constantly showed me that he really doesn't care about me as an individual. He's more concerned about my actions and how they affect him. And that hurt. It hurt me at first, but then, I started to realize, Nia, you got to let that shit go. Because this holding on to it is not doing anything but hurting you. It's not doing anything but weighing you down. So, and reflecting on that, I was telling my cousin, I'm like, it's what's effed up about it is I'm my father's only child. One day he's going to get older and he's going to look back on his life and he's going to realize, damn, I don't really have anybody to take care of me. And all these lectures that he's ever given me about finances, that's all my dad cares about is his money. About finances and you need to have a 401k. You need to make sure you're straight for retirement. You need to have this and you need to have that. You need to be more responsible with your money, Tania. Who do you think you are? You think you're a teenager? You think you're just some young person that doesn't have to be responsible? You don't think that grown people are supposed to have, this is what my father tells me, grown people are supposed to be stressed out. You know why? Because they're always on top of their finances. They're supposed to be stressed out. That shit stresses me out. Those conversations stress me out. And that's when I decide I have to move away from situations like that. Because sometimes people just get too toxic for you. You got to let that heavy weight go. And sometimes it's family, but fuck it. We create our family. We create our family. Blood don't mean shit. So, in realizing that and reflecting on that, I realized, damn, my dad really is going to get older one day and all he's going to look back on is, oh, well, at least I saved for my 401k. Sadly, the reality of it is most people that are saving for a 401k, when you retire one day, that 401k is not going to last you that much longer. It's not going to last you that long. You're going to be sitting there, you're going to be crippled, you're going to be bent over, you're going to be older, you might be senile, you might be losing your eyesight, you might be losing your hearing, but at least I had my 401k. And that's when it hit me. When you get older and you reflect on your life, you're going to look back one day and realize, damn, you're going to look back and ask yourself, did I really fucking live my life? Did I really do what I was set out here to do? Did I really bring with me the most important things that I could? Did a 401k really matter? Did it change my life? Did it inspire other people? Did it help me create the greatest experience that I could have ever had? A 401k. You know what a 401k is? A 401k to me is fear-based. I know it's some people out there that's going to think, no, you need to have a 401k. It's a safety. It's still fear-based. It comes from a basis that I need to make sure I have this to protect myself from that. Something that may not ever really happen. What if you die before you retire? So the point of my reflecting and sharing what I'm sharing is because I just want to ask you what I've been asking myself. What are you here for? Who are you living for? What experience are you creating for yourself? Because one day you're going to look back and you're going to reflect on your life. And you're going to wonder, what the hell did I really create for myself and other people? Now, translation. We're not living for other people. We're living for ourselves. But your light is going to shine so bright that it's going to affect other people. Or it could be so dim that it affects other people. Are you going to choose the light to inspire and to motivate, or to attract what you choose to attract into your life based on your high vibrations? Or are you going to choose to dim it and attract lower vibrational situations that's going to give you more shit to complain about? Kundalini is rising. Well, it definitely feels like it's something popping off, but yeah, I came to realize in reflecting over my life that I start to put things together and realize what my purpose is based on the things that I've been through, positive and negative. For example, for me, like I've shared in previous videos, that is a long hair that does not belong to me. What I've shared in previous videos is that I've been through a lot. I've been through the loss of a mother at a kind of young age. I was 21 when my mother passed away. I've been through domestic violence. I've been in a very abusive, I was in a very abusive marriage. I have, I've dealt with daddy issues pretty much all my life. And looking back on that, for example, with the relationship that I was in with my ex-husband, it was an abusive relationship, and one of the main things I can remember about was feeling so restricted and so controlled. And I realized a pattern. I realized a pattern of attracting and dating all these men that wanted to control me and wanted to restrict me. And then one day when I started to wake up from it, and I started to come out of it, I realized I have a very rebellious soul. The majority of the conflict in my life has come from my source, my soul being so rebellious. So when I look back at things that I went through that tried to control me, I did everything in my heart to break free from that control. And it caused more problems. It caused more fights. It caused me to make some crazy decisions. Y'all, I have done some crazy things. You have a calming aura. Well, thank you. I hope so. Maybe that's why people feel like they can open up to me about things. But yeah, I came to realize, recently, October 31st, I quit my job. I quit my job, y'all. I walked away from a job that had me fucking miserable. I was done. I hated it. I love what I do. I am a healer. I was working in a job. Yes, religion was another one of them. I was working in a job that I absolutely hated. I was a massage therapist at a very popular franchise, very, very popular franchise. And I still am a massage therapist. I do enjoy massage therapy on my own terms. But I realized that working within those same four walls every single day, going to that same job, working the same schedule every single day, I was miserable. I hated it. I would walk out of there sometimes and sit in my car and just stare at traffic go by, stare at cars going by. And I would sit in my car for like an hour sometimes, just like, what the hell am I doing with my life? This is not creating enough change for people. It's not doing enough. I felt so empty. I felt like my soul was just calling for something else. And sure, the money was decent to a certain extent. It paid the bills. But it wasn't fulfilling my soul. It didn't make my heart sing. It didn't pull on my heart. It didn't make me feel fulfilled. And I realized that's where that rebellion was coming into play. I didn't want to go to a 9-to-4 job where somebody was telling me when I could and couldn't work. When I could and couldn't take a vacation. Oh, well, if you want to make money, just work more hours. Work your ass off. Work at a job that you're already miserable at, working more hours. Do it. Suck it up. I come from a family. I have family members to this day that will tell you, sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do in order to get certain places. Sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do to pay the bills. I don't know about y'all. That shit don't sound right to me. And I realized, through this journey that I've been on, I realized I've definitely been here before. A lot of us have, but just me and reflecting on things myself, I've definitely been here before. And I didn't come back to this shit to work at no job where I was miserable. I didn't come back here to feel stuck. Well, yeah, it's both. It's rebellion and a desire to be aligned and do what you like. But I say rebellion because I can be very, very, if I don't get my way about things, I can make some crazy ass decisions. Let me just be real with y'all here, okay? You will have people that will tell you if you want to start your own business, you need to have a plan. You have people that will tell you if you want to start your own business, you need to have 6 months of savings saved up. I said, fuck it. Call me crazy. That's cool. That's fine. I left my job. I did not have a plan. But I knew, my heart told me there is something bigger for you. And the longer you stick here, the longer you will dim your light, the more you will dim your light. So what you going to do? The thought of waking up every morning to an alarm clock to rush to a job that I hated got to be too much. My peace and my sanity were worth more than living within the lines of safety. Safety don't reap you the blessings that you really want. I'm just going to keep it real. Teeter-tottering on the edge of that cliff and not taking that leap don't do shit for you. If you want to learn how to fly, you got to fucking jump. It ain't for everybody. It ain't a decision that everybody should make. But at the end of the day, it was a decision that I had to make. I was miserable. I was not in alignment. I was not doing what I wanted to do. I remember sitting behind a building and I was talking to a friend of mine. I broke down crying. It was the week that all those hurricanes were popping off. And I was like, what if I wasn't here tomorrow? What if a hurricane came and just swept my ass away tomorrow? What if I died tomorrow? Could I look back and say that I did everything that I came here to do? Could I look back and say that I'm satisfied with where my life is? No. My story will be, Nia worked at a place that she was miserable working at and did not make any change and did not create an empire for her family. And today, it kind of really hit me, when you're on this spiritual journey and you're doing your chakra work, one of the main things that people contemplate on or think about when they're thinking about what moves they want to make is this going to make me any money? And that's cool. That's fine. But here's the thing about it, right? If you're always focused on money, if you're so focused on the money, 9 times out of 10, you're still operating from a place of fear. And fear will have you frozen. Fear will keep you locked into a place where you don't want to be. And I was not having that. I couldn't stick around just because I was afraid of what might happen. So I made the necessary moves. I freed myself. I have no regrets. I'm not going back. So anyways, I was thinking about, the heart. I was thinking about how everybody always tells you, how people say, live your purpose, follow your passion, follow your excitement. And it's like my brain has just been working so hard. Like, what does that mean? You know why my brain was working so hard and probably why your brain is working so hard? Because you're still thinking about making money. How can I make money? But when you think about the heart chakra, you think about one of two colors. You think about the color pink. You think about the color green. And what's the first other thing? When you think about the color green, what is 9 times out of 10 the first thing that you think about? Money. So when they say to follow your heart and follow your passion, and you think about following what makes your heart sing, your heart chakra is the color green. So if you're opening and expanding your heart chakra, what are you going to attract? Green. Money. Follow what your soul is calling for you to do. And I look back and I reflect and I'm like, damn, in all my major relationships, I was restricted. I was limited on things that I could do. So when I get into a job where somebody's telling me what I can and can't do, it reminds me of these relationships. It's a sort of a relationship. You bond with your coworkers, you bond with this job, you create a rapport with this job, this career that you have. You want people to think highly of you so that you can be eligible to get a promotion or so that you won't be at risk of losing your job. You're building a relationship with these people. You want to keep these people. You're fighting to stay in a certain position. Just like a relationship. But when it comes to attracting an aligned relationship or someone that will align with you for a successful relationship, they tell you to follow your heart. So how do we really succeed at a job that we're miserable at if we're not following our heart? And we're just sticking with something because it's what we have to do. It takes the good feels out of it. It takes the fun out of it. It closes your heart because you're not following it. There is something that you really, really want to do. Something that you want to say, fuck fear, and really follow. And we can't do it because we're so stuck on worrying about making money. Yes, we need or we want to make money so that we can pay our bills. But one thing I learned about manifesting is, I don't know about y'all, but for me, my manifestation comes in the form of not worrying. When I let go of shit, I manifest the hell out of stuff. When I'm sitting around stressed about it and worrying about it, I block my blessings. So if I'm stuck at a job that I'm miserable doing, worried about how the next bill is going to get paid, I'm blocking the flow of abundance. When we talk about cash flow, when you think about flow, you think about water. Money flowing to you effortlessly. What blocks it? Restriction and fear. It's like water flowing through a hose. If you hold on to that hose too tight, you're blocking the flow of water. If you're holding on to money so tight, which is representative of living paycheck to paycheck, I'm holding on to my money until the next paycheck. You're blocking the flow of money. It's kind of crazy to believe because society teaches us, you need to save, you need to save, you need to save. That's great if you enjoy saving. But if you're saving because of fear of loss, you're not gaining anything. There are times when I saved money because I was afraid, oh, well, this might happen and that might happen, and I saved it, and something big came up that required me to go into my savings and spend that very money that I worked hard to save for. And there were other times where I effortlessly just threw money into my savings account. Effortlessly just decided, you know what, something feels really good to spend money on. I'm going to go ahead and spend money on that. And you know what? That money came right back to me. Exactly. Invest in self by letting go. When I'm holding on to money for fear of losing it, I lose it. You attract what you're focused on. When I'm holding on to money because I enjoy watching my money stack, or because I enjoy watching the flow of money, then I gain it. There's a law. What you give in order to give in order to receive, right? It also means you're spending your money. If you're spending your money and you feel good about spending your money, it's going to come back to you. That is a law. If you hold on to it for fear, you're blocking it. It's not going to come. Think about all the people that saved all this money for 401ks and retirement and this and that. It's people that retired and are going back to work. Old as hell, going back to work, standing at Walmart greeting people. After they spent so many years saving money because they had a fear-based mindset. That shit is not security to me. You know what is security to me? Is investing in myself, just like Isaiah said, and building a fucking empire. Thinking about shit on a different platform. It's a lot of people that are trashing Bitcoin right now, trashing cryptocurrency. A lot of it is fear-based. I don't give a fuck what you say. It's fear-based. Do you really think money in your bank account is secure? If there is an economic crisis and these people don't really give a fuck about you, do you think they'll think, oh, well, I need to keep Nia's money in her checking account. I need to keep Nia's money in her savings account. We don't want to touch her money because she spent so many years with us. We care about her money, even though the whole world is about to come crashing down economy-wise. The wise make you wise. Yes. Short-term investments are better because I spend the returns and then reinvest the rest. Yes, and a lot of people are not willing to take those risks. But even putting your money in a bank account overall is taking a risk. You trust somebody else with your money. You're trusting an institution that you're trusting an institution that goes out of their way to charge you interest, to keep making money off of you, you're trusting them with your money over yourself. You would choose to invest in a bank and grow your savings slowly versus investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and watching that shit grow. See, people are trashing cryptocurrency and Bitcoin market. That's cool, whatever floats your boat. Call it a trend, whatever floats your boat. The stock market has been around for how long? And wealthy people have been investing in the stock market for years. Look at Warren Buffett. He took risks years ago. He chose to hold. The man is wealthy as fuck now. He could buy your house with cash. He could buy your house with cash. But anyway, I kind of got off subject. But the reason that I'm talking about this is because we are scared away from our purpose sometimes. And sitting down and putting things together and realizing that, really thinking about all the things that I absolutely love to do, all the things that make my heart sing, I come to realize that I've been set on this path to be brought right back to the things that I love to do. All these years where I thought, well, yeah, I want to do this. I want to make videos and inspire people. But how is that going to make me money? I get brought right back to it. Because it's like the universe is saying, exactly, he can buy the whole neighborhood with cash. It's like the universe is saying to me, come back to what your heart is calling for you to do. We got you as far as the money. Do what your heart is calling for you to do, and the money will come. When you watch these gurus and you watch these people, most of these spiritual followings, a lot of these spiritual leaders teach you not to worry about money. It doesn't translate into being broke or thinking that loving money means you're materialistic. No, they're telling you, stop focusing on the money. You will be taken care of. The reason that you're fear-based and being controlled and being pushed to buy certain things and invest in certain things is because you're afraid of not having money. If you released your fear of not having money, you would be surprised how easily it comes to you. If you did shit that you were inspired to do on a regular basis, you would be surprised how easily money comes to you. We weren't put here to work in resistance. We were put here to operate out of love. And operating out of love, again, does not mean to be all goody two-shoes and all super positive all the time. No, that's not what it means. But you were put here to operate from your heart. So all the shit that goes on, the media that promotes, oh, well, this might happen and that might happen, the economy could crash. It blocks your heart. It puts you in a state of fear. And when you're in a state of fear, you don't think clearly. You get emotional. You think irrationally. You buy things that you might need just in case something happens. We go into debt for fear of not having money. We go into debt because we're afraid that we won't have what the next person does. All those low vibrational thoughts you have actually create debt. So what is it really about? Yeah, money is not everything, but it is everything at once. Because money is you. You are abundance. You are the flow. So I'm just going to keep it real and raw and say, honestly, I bottom line feel like fuck worrying about the money. I'm literally on the verge of discovering so much greatness within myself because I'm eliminating worrying about the money. I'm going to attract it because I ain't worried about it. It's like for a confident man or woman that walks into the room, even if they're not even that attractive, They might not be the most attractive person in the world, but you know what? In their heart, they believe that they are hella attractive. They might believe in their heart that they are the most attractive person in the room. And because they believe that, everybody else around them is going to believe it. Based on the way a man or a woman carries himself, other men and women in that room are going to be attracted to them because of what they believe about themselves. So if you believe that you are the abundance and you are the money, what are you going to attract? Abundance. Money. See, I try to think about things from a different perspective. You know, like I was talking to a friend the other day. Live and speak your truth. Balance. Let me talk about that too. Living and speaking your truth. Because the heart chakra and the throat chakra are right next to each other, right? Spells, those words that you cast over yourself, are also blocking your money. You know what makes me cringe to hear? Is when people say, oh, I'm broke. It hurt me to even think to say it just now. I'm not saying that shit. You know what I was about to say. I'm not saying that shit. But when people say that, I'm this and I'm that. I don't have the for this and I don't have the for that. You're fucking yourself up. Because the things that you say out of your mouth, the more that you say them, you start to believe them. And vice versa. You speak the things that you believe. I don't even mock people when they say it. When they say I'm that word, BROKE, I don't even mock them when they say that. I don't even bring myself to say shit like that. No, not me. You're not going to get me. You know what's interesting? You ever watch how... I remember reading about Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is one of the best actors. One of my favorite actors, right? Well, his wife said that Denzel Washington studies his role so much that he literally becomes that person. And she even said it can be scary sometimes because he's so caught up in his role. She doesn't even know who he is. That man goes and practices those lines over and over again for that role. He becomes that character so much that he believes he is that person. Those are the best actors. It's like the guy Heath Ledger. When he played the Joker, when he played that dark ass role as the Joker, he became that person. That's some scary but some powerful shit at the same time. In order to attract what you want, you have to become the vibration of it. Don't let nobody tell you it's stupid to believe that you're going to attract a Range Rover. You're going to have a Range Rover one day. Get the fuck from around those people. Surround yourself with people that are going to support your dreams and not look at you crazy when you speak about how you're a millionaire or a billionaire. I am abundant. Money comes to me effortlessly and easily. He was the best Joker. He was so caught up in that role. Even if you watch one of the latest Jim Carrey interviews, he talks about how we all play these different roles. It's just like a movie. How do you know you're not living in this simulated world where people are watching you play this role? You're playing a role that you think everybody else wants you to play. And it goes back to what I said. Who are you living for? Most of us are not living for ourselves. We're living based on society's standards. We're living based on our family's expectations. We're living based on our lovers' expectations. A lot of us are living to fulfill what our significant other wants. Some of us are so afraid of being on our own that we would literally mold ourselves into being someone else for that person. Actors mold themselves into being this role for a movie to get paid a certain amount of money. You mold yourself for what society expects of you. You mold yourself for what your partner expects of you. And then you lose yourself, just like Denzel, just like Jim Carrey, just like Heath Ledger. You lose yourself because you are living for other people. You are not aligned with your purpose because you are living what other people expect of you. And then you wonder why you're sitting around struggling for finances. You wonder why you're sitting around unfulfilled. You wonder why you sit around depressed because you're not aligned with who you really are. And how do you find out who you really are? You can't find that being surrounded by society. You can't find that being surrounded by other people's belief systems. Do you know I just discovered just about 2 weeks ago that I was still holding myself back because of what I was worried about what my ex would think about me. We're not even in a relationship anymore, and I was worried about what he would think about me. So I was taking steps, tiptoeing around what I really wanted to do because I was afraid of what he might think about me, because I have been programmed to be afraid of what other people might not even think about, what might think about me, even though they're not even in my life. Society does not come into your day-to-day life and guide you or care about you or give a fuck about you building an empire for your loved ones and for yourself. They don't give a fuck about what you're doing for your loved ones or for yourself. Society is not teaching you to live for you. Society is teaching you to think for everybody else. Think about what everybody else is thinking about. So then you lose sight of who you are. You lose sight of your purpose. You forget who you are. You forget that you're living for yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself first and live for yourself, you cannot live or take care of anybody else. So how do you get to the root of who you really are? You got to start to think about all the things that you've struggled with all your life. What was some of your biggest struggles since childhood? I believe you, Isaiah. I believe that you did it for years, because your posts say that you've been through a lot of shit. You have been through some legit shit. It's funny because my cousin, he was talking about the firstborn in the family. I don't know if you're the firstborn, but he was talking about the firstborn in your family. He was talking about how the firstborn are somewhat of the chosen ones. They go through the most adversity. Now, I was an only child. But in my family, I was known as the weird one. I was known as the outcast. I was known as the ugly duckling. I was known as the weirdo, the strange one, the one that doesn't think like everybody else. What's wrong with you, Nia? You tripping. You're bugging. Hey, Will. Yes, the black sheep. Exactly. I was known as the black sheep of the family. And now I know it played a role in my purpose. I'm here to do some great ass shit. Some other level shit. And I'm confident enough to say that now because I know what I've been through. People tell me I should write a book, and I'm going to write a book one day. Notice that I'm programming myself with the things that I'm saying right now, and I'm saying them with confidence. You're going to believe it. I'm going to believe it, and I'm going to accomplish it because I believe it. But I'm going to write a dope ass book one day of things that I've been through. But the amount of adversity that we have faced, the things that you struggle with the most since childhood, are things that you were put here to do. You think differently about things a certain way. You have a different perspective about things because you were brought here to teach about those things. I was put here to teach about living outside of restriction because I was restricted a large part of my life. The most complicated and difficult relationship I've ever been through, I was so restricted. I was so restricted to the point where I was timed on how long it would take me to get to the store and come back from the store. The miles on my car were counted for how long it should take me to get to a store and how long it should take me to get back. It shouldn't take you that long to go in the store and buy baby wipes and come back. It takes you 3 minutes to get up the road to Walmart. It should take you 3 minutes to get back. It should take you about 5 to 7 minutes to walk through the store just to get baby wipes and get through the cash register. That's how calculated things were for me. That's how restricted things were for me. The abuse came from the fact that I was rebelling against that dominant energy and that form. But I was restricted, so restricted that it caused me to break free in some of the wildest ways that some people may not ever choose some path that some people may not ever choose to take. But it was so much adversity for me. It was so much conflict for me that I chose to break free. I went the total opposite direction, the opposite end of the polarity. I had to. I needed to. My life depended on it. Exactly. Public speaking, then do that. You should be acting on that now. But I know I was put here for things like that because of things that I had been through. I know, like I said at the beginning of the video, a lot of my life I did not have any integrity. I was a liar. I lied about shit that I didn't even have to lie about. So now I'm at a point in my life where I'm growing so much at such a rapid pace that I put everything out there. I put everything out there. There's something you want to know, just ask. I put everything out there. I tell people all the time, I used to be a stripper. I used to be a liar. I used to say anything, whatever I needed to say to hold on to a relationship. Whatever it might be. Working in a strip club, being a stripper. A lot of people will say it's a very negative thing to experience. And I will say it is a very low vibrational environment. I will say that. But what I'll also tell you that I learned about working in a strip club, women have so much power over men, it's not even funny. And you can use it for the good or you can use it for the bad. But you know what I learned? I learned about my sexual energy. I learned about my sensual energy. I learned about the way that I walk and how it could turn any man's head. I learned about the way that I speak and how it could make a man pull money out of his pockets. But I chose to grow above that and use it in a positive light because I want to empower women on how powerful that feminine energy is and how it can be used for good because you are a creator. I could have chose to go the negative aspect of it and say, "Oh yeah, girl, you gotta use what you got to get what you want," and use that in a negative form. But I chose to go the opposite route with it and speak about how powerful that can be used, how that power can be used for good. Let's see. What else? Restriction in relationships taught me how to be free. Dealing with a low vibrational environment such as a strip club taught me about my sexual energy. Molestation, rape, so much trauma, that could have literally broken someone down and made them take their life. Yeah, I thought about suicide a few times. When I first lost my mother, was my darkest moment. I can tell you about demons that I faced. I can tell you about spirits that I have encountered that did not want me to be here today. My shadow self. Everything is within. I faced all that, and I still have things that I'm working through. But now that I've been through depression and I've had suicidal thoughts, I've been through domestic violence, I've worked in a strip club, I've dealt with sexual trauma, I've dealt with sexual abuse. I can empower other people that are going through it now. So that's why I say you look back at your life and you look back at the things that you've dealt with. You look back at the things that you faced. Because you're here to help other people conquer those things. In your own creative way. Whether it's speaking out about it, just being there for one or two people. It is part of your purpose. Ultimately, I believe that your purpose is to follow your heart. Your heart is going to keep you in touch with what your soul wants for you. Other than that, what the fuck are you doing here? Living in fear? Focusing on scraping up change? Focusing on working at something that you don't want to do? To survive? Because we have a limited mindset and think that that's our only way of surviving is to work hard at something that we don't want to do? That's bullshit. That's what keeps you in the system. That's what keeps you from branching out into your own business and doing what you really want to do. You say things that free my mind from doubt. That's what's up. I'm glad. You're welcome. Be cautious about what we allow into our hearts. Exactly. Man, every single day when you go out into the world and you hear conversations, because the brain is always working. The subconscious mind is always working. We're always listening, even when we're not listening. Be conscious and cautious of the people that you surround yourself with, the conversations that you participate in, the conversations that you happen to hear. Another thing that I notice when it comes to creating your reality, when you go out into public and all of a sudden you just hear this one random conversation at a totally different table, you were meant to hear that conversation. Later on down the road in your life, that conversation is going to be helpful to you or somebody else. Every single line you read in a book plays a role in your life. Every single conversation that you overhear, every single conversation that you have plays a very important role in your life. You're always programming yourself with information. The mind is limitless. So later on down the road, like in these videos, these conversations that I have, this is stuff that I've learned along the way from spirit or been guided to from a book or something that I've gained knowledge about somehow. But spirit always led me to that knowledge. And I was passionate about it, so I shared it with you. And I hope that you share this video. But in sharing, I hope that I inspire other people to share from the heart. There's no reason to hide things. See, the things that you hide in that shadow aspect of yourself that you fight with and you suppress, you could literally change somebody else's life if you opened up and shared it with them. You don't have to get on video and share about your trauma or whatever you've been through, but your story is meant to be shared with somebody. Just like some of y'all said, I needed to hear this. What if I didn't share it? It would change how your life plays out. We're all connected. So when you follow your heart and you get into your purpose and the things that you're supposed to do, you affect the conscious collective. The domino effect. You affect the next person's life somehow. You go out into this world on high vibrations and you're vibrating high. Even if people don't hear your message, they feel it. They feel it. They pick up on it. You go out into the world and somebody says, it's just something about you. Something about you. Thank you for smiling at me today. Thank you for being who you are. You could walk past somebody that's getting on the train and thinking about killing themselves when they get home from work or wherever, and you smiled at them and reminded them that they were supposed to be here. They could have been getting on the train and been like, all right, God, give me a sign. If somebody smiles at me today, that smile lets me know that I'm supposed to be here. Because I've done that before. That smile lets me know that I'm supposed to be here today. And then you do what? You do what you are. You always do. You be who you are and you smile at somebody. And they change their whole life because of that fucking smile. Yes, it's that small. It's the little things. All of that shit matters. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to start speaking from my heart. And I'm going to start sharing what I'm inspired by. I'm going to start sharing what I'm reflecting on. Because I wanted to change lives. But see, also, on another note, I didn't come here to stress about whether people receive my message or not. I came here with the understanding that my energy and my message is going to affect those that it needs to affect. It is not my job to stress or worry about those who don't change because of it. I'm not here to stress about whether you receive it or not. I'm not here to stress about whether you share or not. I'm not here to stress about whether it changes your life or not. The right people that need to hear it will hear it and receive it. and do what needs to be done. Exactly. The little raindrops that fill up the oceans. I like that. So, that's what this video is about. Finding your purpose. What makes your heart sing? What goes on in the world that bugs the shit out of you? What brings you to tears? What gives you those funny butterflies in your stomach or those funny warm heart tugs? Are you living for yourself or are you living for other people? The things that you aspire to do, were they programmed within you by family members and friends? Or is this something that you've always wanted to do? What are you naturally good at? What are you naturally talented at doing? What do you find yourself researching consistently all the time? What could you read about for hours? What could you research for hours? What do people tell you you're good at? What do people come to you for? What do they ask you advice on? What are you naturally good at giving advice on? That begins the path to your purpose. Following your heart's greatest excitement. And believe it or not, I was thinking a couple of weeks ago, all the things that I'm excited about doing, all the things that I love to do, how the hell can I put that into one thing? Being myself. Sharing when I'm inspired. I'm a comedian, y'all. I'm fucking hilarious. Don't care what nobody says. I'm fucking hilarious. And I'm like, one person told me you should do stand-up comedy. And I was like, nah. I immediately knew. I was like, that's not for me. My comedy comes in the form of the fact that I absolutely love to make people laugh because I know that it changes lives. That's why I fucks with Jim Carrey. Because Jim Carrey is hilarious as hell and he would tell you he loves to make people laugh. Loves to make people laugh. As one of my favorite Facebook friends, Jason Hairston, always says, laughter heals. And it does. And I love doing it. I used to be the clown at work. At one point, it used to get under my skin because people would say, why are you so silly? You're a clown. You're a goofball. And it started to get under my skin, but then I realized, you know what it is? It's not the goofball that gets under my skin. People call me that. It's the fact that I don't know balance. If I learn balance, and what I mean by balance is, if you go out into the world and you're always silly and you're always a goofball, if you don't know who the fuck you are, people can make you feel bad about it and people will take advantage of it because people think, oh, she's always silly. She's always laughing. That means I can run all over her and I can fuck with her because she's always goofy. I never see her serious, so I can fuck with her. No. That's where the balance comes into play. Just because I'm silly does not mean you can push my buttons. Just because I'm silly does not mean you can fuck with me. Just because I'm silly does not mean you can take advantage of me. So let me set you straight on that. I can be a goofball and I can make you laugh, but I will put you in your place if you overstep your boundaries. So now that I know balance, I can be the goofball. I can be the comedian. I can be hilarious. Don't get it twisted. I'm funny. And I'm growing into enlightenment. And I'm blossoming into this beautiful butterfly, but I can still fuck you up. I'm going to take a shower and come back. Okay. I'm just kidding. All love. But I just thought that was funny because I'm a goofball. But anyway, yeah, so I figured out that I can put all that into everything that I'm doing. When I create these videos, I can make people laugh. I can do, throw in my little smart ass remarks or whatever the case may be. I'm just here to be me. I'm here to do what my heart wants to do. That is be inspiration. That is be motivation. That is be a comedian. That is be a mother. That is be the divine feminine. That is to be seductive. That is to be sensual. All these things I am. To be a goddess. To be a priestess, which I am learning about and have no idea exactly what that means because there are so many definitions of it and you can't count on the internet. So I'm going to have to meditate on that one. But it keeps coming to me. Here to be a butterfly and break free of society's imprisonment. I'm here to be all things that my heart wants to be. And so are you. And you all have your own unique and dope ass message to put out there to the world. Stop letting fear and society and parents and friends and relatives keep you from doing that. Family and relatives are the same thing, Nia. Whoever you value in your life, stop letting them restrict you from becoming who you truly are. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the line, all you're going to have is your life experiences. You can't take them with you to the grave. You can't take a 401k with you to the grave. You can't take your basic ass 9-to-5 job with you to the grave. But what you can take is your life experiences. The change that you've created in the world, the light that you have brought to the world is what you can take with you. At the end of the day, that other shit don't matter. Yes, we are having a human experience and we still need to maintain. But don't restrict your belief system to think that we have to maintain like everybody else does. One of the keys to manifestation is not to worry about the how. And too many times we worry about the how, which keeps us frozen in fear. Because most of us think how is having a job and working a 9-to-5. I will tell you, there have been times where I had no idea where money was going to come from. And I was worried about paying my rent. I had no idea how I was going to pay my rent. And one day I just said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to get paid. It's going to get handled. And y'all know what happened to me? All right, so let me be real here. A few years ago when I was living in my first apartment after I got divorced, I was maintaining. I was doing bad at first. I didn't have a car. I went a year without a car, and I had to get back and forth to work and this and that. That's normal for most people. That wasn't normal for me. I grew up pretty kind of privileged and kind of spoiled, but that was a struggle for me because I had never been through that, public transportation, things like that. But I maintained. And it was at one point, I just absolutely had no idea where the rent money was going to come from for that month. So I let it go. I was like, fuck it. It's going to happen. I've been taking care of myself all these years. I've always been on top all these years. So I'm not going to worry about it. But at one point I was getting food stamps and they had cut my food stamps off. And they cut my food stamps off because I was lying about my income. I was only reporting one job. Thank God my government name is not on here. But yeah, I was only reporting one job. And well, they found out about it already. Anyway, they found out about it, so they cut my food stamps off or whatever. So, exactly. So the last day before I had to pay my rent, it was like the 9th or the 10th before I had to pay my rent, I went to check the mailbox. And I got a check in the mail from social services, from the same department that handles food stamps. Now, before that, about a week before that, I got a letter in the mail from them saying that I owed them $500. I had to pay them $500 back because I had been lying about my income or whatever. So then a week later, right before I had to pay my rent, last day before I need to pay my rent, after I said, fuck it, everything's going to work out. I always make it. Everything flows effortlessly and easily to me. I get a check in the mail from the same department that said I owed them $500 that gave me $500. It was a check for $500. It was like $486. Listen, I wasn't going to question it. I wasn't going to call them and be like, I thought I owed y'all $500. No. A nigga needed to pay her rent. Okay. So guess who hopped her ass down to the bank and deposited that check and paid her rent? I did. Okay. Don't worry about the how. The shit will happen. When you restrict it and you worry about it, you block your blessings. I let go. I let the universe handle it. And instead of me paying them back, they paid me $500. Okay. Another story. I'm trying to shorten these videos, y'all, but man, I be like on excitement mode about sharing some of this stuff. But that year that I went without a car, I didn't have a car for a year, and it's amazing how blessed I was throughout that entire year of not having a car. You know, walking to and from the bus stop, walking up this big ass hill to the back of the apartment complex where I lived. I never once got rained on, like heavy rain. Never got caught in the rain. Not once for a whole year. Never got caught in the rain. Never felt, unsafe or any of that stuff or whatever. And like I said, my dad has never really been in my life or whatever. My dad has not ever really been there for me. And around this time, I had talked to my dad in over a year or so. And one day I came home and I had got rained on a little bit, and it was cold as hell, and I was just tired. I was exhausted. And I dropped down on the floor and I said, okay, God. At the time I was still a Christian, but I said, okay, God, I'm surrendering it all to you. I'm letting it go. I know you got a plan for me. I'm okay. I went through everything I was grateful for, like legit grateful for, because I'm a very optimistic person. I said, you know what? I'm thankful because I love to people watch. I love riding on the bus because I get to watch people. I love going to the train station because I get to watch people. I don't have to pay for car insurance right now. I don't have a car payment, so all that money that I do make, it can go to other things. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that I'm in shape because I walk to the bus stop every day. I'm thankful that I haven't been rained on yet. I'm thankful that I meet some pretty dope souls on the bus and I get to watch how different people interact every day on the bus. I was really thankful for that stuff. So the next day I get a phone call from my dad, and my dad is like, hey Nia, I just need to call and update your information, get your social security number because I need to update my life insurance policy or whatever, and I need to put your stuff on there. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, is everything okay? Are you good? Or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I'm good. I just need to update everything or whatever. And he was like, so how's everything on your end? First of all, I'm surprised. My dad never asked me how anything is going on my end or whatever. And I was like, everything is, things are okay, but I don't have a car right now. And it's kind of hard with the kids, and this and that. It just all came pouring out. Just fuck it. First of all, my dad has pretty much been a deadbeat all my life. So it's not like I thought he was going to do anything. I was just sharing with him, being honest with him about my experience. Asking you shall receive. Even though I didn't really ask. And he said, he was like, okay, well, go look for a car at the auction or whatever. Go look for something. Your budget is $1,500. Go look for a car. And I'm like, okay, sure. I'll go look for a car. So I looked through the papers and some different ads or whatever. Really couldn't find a reliable car for under $1,500. So I called him back and I'm like, Dad, I really can't find a reliable car. He's like, well, keep looking. Because my dad is cheap as hell. So I go to work the next day, and my manager comes back there, and he's like, Nia, I need you to really take really good care of this guy. This guy, he's the owner of the Keffer dealership, one of the biggest car dealership owners ever, Keffer. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna treat him any differently from anybody else. I take pride in my massages, so I'm gonna give him the same massage I give everybody else. So I end up talking to him. He's telling me about the Keffer dealership and his story or whatever. So, the next day I talked to my dad again, and I'm like, Dad, I'm having a hard time finding a car or whatever. And, so I'm looking on some different websites and searching, for certain credit situations because of my credit at the time. And I'm like, I really need a car. And guess what dealership comes up? Keffer dealership, the same dealership. So I go to the Keffer dealership and I end up talking to a salesperson, and he's like, you know what? Let me talk to your dad. I'll convince your dad to help you buy this car or whatever. We'll help get your dad to be a co-signer on this car. I'm like, no freaking way. So he called my dad, and my dad's first answer is, hell no. I told her to buy a car from the auction. Not going to do it. I go to work that following Saturday, and I get a phone call from the salesperson. He's like, hey, Nia, I need you to come in as soon as possible. Your dad agreed to put $1,500 down on your car, and he's going to co-sign on the car for you. What? My dad, the one that hasn't done anything for me all my life and is doing things for just all of a sudden he's going to co-sign on the car, and he put $1,500 down on the car for me. He's like, yeah, come in as soon as you can. I pulled out of that dealership with at the time, 2011 Dodge. I always forget the name of it. Great car, had that car for 5 years, never laid on a single car payment, built my credit with that car loan, everything. Because I let go of the how and I expressed my gratitude. So I went off on another tangent, but all that to say, there's a lesson in letting go and not worrying about the money. And a blessing that comes from letting go and not worrying about the money is finding your purpose and feeling fulfilled and feeling good about what you're doing. And enjoying life and following your greatest excitement. How many success stories do you hear about people living their purpose and finding success in living their purpose? Even if it's a hustler mindset or network marketing or something that people really enjoy doing, it's because they have a passion for making money. Some people just fucking enjoy making money. Gary Vaynerchuk, he's one of my favorite people that I follow, that I watch. He is a hustler at heart. He just loves to flip money. That man is successful as hell, worth multi-millions, because he's a hustler. He gained success. One of the biggest ways he gained success was from going to freaking garage sales, buying things and turning around and flipping it on eBay. Because he loves to flip things. He loves to make money. So what I'm saying to you, when you look at people like Oprah and you look at people like Tyler Perry was so passionate about getting his plays out there. The man was homeless as fuck and wrote plays and found success in his plays and is now right up there with Oprah damn near. Because of what he loved to do. So that's what I came here to do. That's what I wanted to create this video about, was to just talk about purpose and living in your purpose. And, you know, I'm open to helping people find their purpose. That's what that's something that I love to do. I'll be sharing some stuff with you guys soon, some pages for you to follow, that projects that I'm working on to really help people and guide people. So like the video, share the video, tag your friends in it, if it's going to benefit them, and just do your work, man. Keep doing your inner work and find who you truly are, and get the fuck away from what society and friends and family tell you who you are. Let your heart tell you who you are. Society will lead you to failure. Society will lead you to misery. Okay? Love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Okay? Bye-bye. Oops. That ain't it.